hello, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you are new, I'm Lucy, I'm a mum of 4 and I share all sorts of things on this channel, like day in the life videos, these sorts of chatty videos, lifestyle-y type stuff, homeschool type stuff at the moment too. And if that's the sort of thing that you'd be interested in, I would love to have you along for the ride. So please do click on that subscribe button down there if you haven't already. But let me get on with the topic of today's video, which is one that is really close to my heart, but one I'm not normally very good at. And that is the topic of me time. I would love to know in the comments what you do for me time, because I am terrible at me time. I'm the sort of person that loves a good hobby but is very bad normally at being able to prioritise those hobbies or things that I love. I did a video a little while ago now, in fact it was probably quite a long time ago now, about the fact that I was really struggling with prioritising time for myself and the fact that it was making me quite sad, but that I didn't really know how to manage it. Still not saying particularly that I have found the answer to that one, but what I will say is that right now we're in a bit of a strange situation. We obviously have quarantine, lockdown going on with the COVID-19 virus, and right now is the time in my life that I have finally found a way of being able to prioritise me time a little bit more. Now there is a reason for this. The main reason that I have really prioritised me time over this weird period of time that we found ourselves in is for my mental health. Without going into it in tons of detail, over the past year or so, I definitely feel like my mental health has not been as good as it could be. It's definitely not been at a point where I have needed to speak to a doctor about it. It's definitely been manageable, but I've definitely not entirely felt like myself. There's been some things that have happened that have definitely unsettled and upset me more than they would do normally, and this whole quarantine thing was no different. And initially, when it first happened, even before the lockdown kicked in, I found myself getting into quite a bad state of feeling anxious, cross, stressed, quite distressed, like upset about the whole situation. I know I'm not alone in all of this, but the way that I was dealing with it was also not anywhere near normal for me. I am normally very good at putting a positive spin on practically everything, and I couldn't. I just got myself into quite a state. And I do also know myself well enough now to know how I can handle myself when these sorts of things happen. The first thing is I need to put my phone down. And it's funny how when I put my phone down, I find a lot more time to do the stuff that I always say I don't have time to do. So on a brighter note, I thought that in today's video, I would talk about the stuff that I've been doing. I've got some new stuff that I've started doing for the first time. I've got stuff that I've got back into, and it's been really positive for me and for my mental health, and I thought I would share it in hopes that it might inspire you to maybe try something, find yourself some me time, and also to open up discussion to see whether you are finding yourself with more me time or less me time in this weird situation that we are in right now. Now, the first me time activity that I almost straight away got back into was crochet. Now, I have crocheted for about 4, maybe 5 years. I only learnt when I was pregnant with Quinn, so yeah, about 5 years ago, but I probably haven't made anything since I was pregnant with Wylder, and he's 2. So it's been a while since I've picked up my crochet hook and I've made anything, but I know from experience that when I crochet, it tends to really fill up my evenings, and it keeps my hands busy, but it's not something I have to think about too much. So it's something I can have the television on, but it keeps my hands busy and it stops me from doom scrolling. I don't know if you've come across the phrase doom scrolling, but I read about that quite early on in this whole COVID thing. I was like, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm just scrolling through my phone, reading terrible stories and upsetting myself and getting cross. So anything that could encourage me to put my phone down and pick something else up. So I decided I was going to start work on a COVID lockdown blanket. So I've called it my lockdown blanket. Rainbows are kind of our like signature thing in our house. We love rainbows, and rainbows have kind of become the signature thing for the whole COVID lockdown. So it kind of worked really well that I've been working on a rainbow COVID blanket. There is a weird and very nostalgic part of me that hopes that this becomes a bit of a like family heirloom, and that in years to come my children remember that weird spring when mum just dragged a blanket around all the time. But it has kind of becomes a bit of an heirloom and has all these sorts of nice memories attached to it at a time that was a bit stressful. So I've definitely found that to be a really nice me time activity to get back into. This one is a more obvious one, and I think it's one a lot of people are doing, and that is reading. If you have been following my currently videos, you will know I've been reading this book for a long time. It's not that it's not a brilliant book, it's an amazing book, but I always find that by the time I go to bed I'm so tired. I read 2 pages, I pass out fast asleep, and it's just taking me ages to get through it. But I have ploughed through it since we have been in lockdown, because I've been finding that if I go to bed a little bit earlier and I can get immersed in my book, it seems that I go off to sleep faster if I've read my book, because I think it helps me to switch off more. Whereas if I don't read, I think too much as I'm going to sleep, and that kind of gets my brain all overactive. I'm more likely to feel a bit more stressed out when I go to sleep, and I'm finding books are working really, really well for that pure escapism. Another evening time thing that I've been doing to kind of help me relax and get in the zone for sleep is I've really started taking a lot more time over my evening skincare regime. So I did a video a little while ago about the fact that I'd got into the Ordinary skincare. I'll pop a link to that video below because I've got quite a sizable collection of products now. But I've got really into taking my time over really applying the products in the evening. I feel like right now is a time when I'm probably not wearing as much makeup as I do normally, not bothering to do my hair. I feel like this is a really good opportunity to give my skin and my hair a break and to put lots of nice products onto them. And I've been really enjoying taking a bit more time over my skincare because I have got a little bit more time in the evening to do that. Now this next one is a bit of a different one, and it might sound like a bit of a weird one, but stick with me. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I am a planner. I love planning, I love doing decorative planning, and I spend time each week sitting down and decorative planning out my week. Now that's great when you have got a very busy life and lots of errands and things you need to be doing. When you suddenly find yourself in lockdown and you're not doing anything or going anywhere, that's a bit of a weird hobby to have. And the first week or so didn't even pick my planner up because it actually just made me feel really sad, because I had taken out all the post-its with all the booked in activities that we had going on, and I just had to put them all in the bin, and it just made me feel really, really depressed. But I found a way around it, and I found a way back into a hobby that I already had, and I found a new way of loving it. So I have turned my planner that I already use and have already shared several times over on this channel into more of a journal or a memory planner, and I've absolutely loved doing this. It's a completely different way of using this planner for me, but I've been really enjoying it. So just to give you a quick look at what I've been doing, I've been still spending time making it look decorative, but I've just been using it to jot down memories and tiny little things that we have been up to. So in this particular week, I put something I was thankful for in each of the boxes on each day. So it could have been really simple things. Sometimes it was just a TV show or something that I was enjoying doing, something that was giving me a light in a slightly dark period. And then I've written a little bit more about how the days have been going in between. But then in the later weeks of lockdown, I've just turned it into jotting down all sorts of weird anecdotal things that are going on. So there's Zoom calls that we were doing, activities where they've had good days, bad days, and all the days in between. So I've just been jotting down all sorts of bits and pieces, and it's been really good fun. I've really enjoyed just keeping a record of these days that we're finding ourselves in, and it's allowing me to do something crafty, it's allowing me to do something creative, and it's kind of creating us a little time capsule, which I think is quite nice to look back on. So if you are a crafty type of person, maybe think about doing a bit of journaling. Pick up that diary that's long since been abandoned because you don't think you have any plans anymore, and just start jotting down the silly little things that are happening each day that you've been enjoying, because I have definitely been enjoying recording all of those, and I think I'll really like looking back on them in the years to come as well. The final thing that I'm going to talk about is so not me, it is untrue, and that is running. Now, anybody that knows me will know that I have always sworn blind I cannot run. I love yoga, love swimming, love dance. I'm a very active kind of person, but I am not built to run. I would like run up the stairs and feel like I was out of breath. I hated running. But I also know that exercise can be very medicinal in stressful times. I feel like getting those endorphins going is really, really helpful. My preferred type of exercise is swimming, 100%. And I found myself very quickly when lockdown hit, craving swimming. I was having dreams about swimming. I wanted to be in the water. That bit where you're just powering through. I desperately wanted to swim, and of course I can't swim because all the pools are shut. So I basically just decided one day that I was going to download the Couch to 5K app and just go out and run and see how I got on. And 3 weeks later, I'm still doing it. And actually, dare I say it, enjoying it. Now, anyone that has done Couch to 5K knows that it builds up the amount that you run in increments a little bit at a time. So I am still nowhere near running 5K, but I'm running a damn sight further than I ever thought that I would. And I'm going out nice and early in the morning and I'm getting that in before I start my day, and I feel fantastic for it. The endorphins definitely last me most of the day, and of course there are all sorts of health benefits, I'm sure, for running, but for me it was definitely about mental health, and it's definitely helped with that. There we go, I've just said it out loud. I actually like running, the person who always swore that they couldn't run and didn't like running. Do you know what is changing people, this whole lockdown thing, isn't it? I think maybe for the better. I would like to think for the better. I will admit right here and now, the running thing is definitely being made easier by the fact that my husband is working from home. So one of the things I complained about when I did a previous video about me time was the fact that it's very hard for me to carve out time for me, because by the time I've done all the things I need to do, there is very little time left for the things that I want to do, and I obviously have the childcare element of things, and obviously he is here, so it's a lot easier for me to get up in the morning and go out and run. But I would like to think that even when this whole lockdown thing is over, I should still be able to fit in some runs if I'm still enjoying it, which just goes to show that maybe the whole time factor was just an excuse all along, and I needed a kick up the bottom to make me do it. I feel like I need to close out this video by saying there is a lot of backlash at the moment about the fact that we shouldn't be under pressure to use lockdown productively, and that we shouldn't be having to take up a new hobby, and we shouldn't be having to do all these things, and we should just be able to exist. That I 100% agree with that. I could also have added Netflix as something that has been a really fantastic source of me time for me lately, because it has been, and it's a very, very valid form of me time, which I love very much. But at the same time, for me, being productive, creative, active, doing all those sorts of things is, like I said, really important for my mental health and for my well-being, and it makes me happier to keep busy. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's like that. And carving out some time within our schedule for stuff that makes me happy is almost more important right now, at a time when I'm having to give more than I normally need to in terms of educating my children, plus caring for my children, plus doing all the meals, and everybody's here all the time and we don't get any space from one another. And I feel like it's okay for me to selfishly say, I need some time for stuff for me right now. And if you aren't already, I would really encourage you to try and do something for yourself. If you are already doing stuff for yourself, I'd love to know what they are down in the comments. Have you started a new hobby? Have you got back into an old hobby? Are you creating something? Tell me all about it. Give me more ideas. Maybe I could take up something new. And if you're not already, maybe tell me something in the comments that you really wish you could start, or maybe that you're going to start having watched this video. I would absolutely love it if this video had made somebody go, do you know what, I'm gonna do some journaling tonight because that will make me feel great. Or do you know what, I'm gonna go out for a run because Lucy, she never said she could run and now she's actually enjoying it. I mean, wouldn't that just be a shocker if not only I started liking running myself, but I encouraged other people to do it? That would be bonkers. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to come and spend with me. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and I will see you for another video really soon. Bye.